She accused him of theft, tore his bag, and broke his glasses, unaware that the teenager was her boss's son. The crowd recorded everything. The video went viral, and her world began to fall apart. But the real drama was yet to unfold. Let's start from the very beginning. On a Saturday afternoon, Michael James, a 16-year-old African-American teenager, entered the mall to buy a birthday gift for his mom. He had a clear plan: go to the jewelry store, purchase an affordable bracelet, and return home to focus on his studies. Michael was a serious young man, humble, well-mannered, and a straight-A student, dreaming of attending a prestigious university. At the same time, Karen Whitfield, a middle-aged woman with styled curls and a shiny handbag, hurried through the mall, frustrated after a heated argument with a friend. She had stopped for a coffee, but upon stepping out of the shop, realized her wallet was missing. Bitter and suspicious, she started scanning the crowd for a culprit. Spotting Michael with a shopping bag, Karen immediately jumped to conclusions, deciding that he must have stolen her wallet. "Hey you! Stop right there!" she yelled, chasing after him down the corridor. Michael turned, startled by her shouting. Before he could respond, Karen grabbed his shoulder. "What did you steal? Show me!" she demanded, yanking at his bag. "Excuse me, but you're mistaken," Michael replied calmly. "I didn't take anything." Karen ignored his words. In her fury, she snatched his bag, ripping it open and spilling its contents. Michael's glasses fell to the floor and shattered. "You're a threat to everyone here," Karen shouted, waving the torn bag. "People like you don't belong in a place like this." A crowd began to gather. Bystanders pulled out their phones to record the escalating scene. Someone called mall security. "I didn't do anything," Michael said, trying to explain as the security guards arrived. Karen, still shouting, pointed at him and declared, "He stole my wallet! It's obvious! Just look at him! He looks suspicious!" The security guards asked everyone to step back and requested to see the contents of Michael's bag. Inside, they found only purchases from the jewelry store and a receipt confirming the payment. "Where is your wallet, ma'am?" one of the guards asked Karen calmly. "This can't be. He must have taken something," Karen insisted, but her accusations were starting to sound less convincing. Michael quietly gathered the remains of his purchases, his face a mix of exhaustion and hurt. Karen continued her tirade until one of the guards suggested checking the surveillance footage. The murmurs of the crowd grew louder, and some people were already uploading their videos of the incident online. "This isn't over yet!" Karen shouted as the guards led her away for further questioning. Michael stood still, blindly reaching for his broken glasses, fully aware that this was a day he would never forget. When the security guards escorted Karen and Michael to a small office for questioning, the crowd in the mall continued to watch the unfolding events. Videos recorded on phones were already spreading across social media. People debated the blatant injustice of the situation. A young man accused without evidence, and a white woman loudly proclaiming concerns about public safety. "He stole my wallet! I'm sure of it!" Karen exclaimed, flailing her arms. "He's clearly one of those people who cause trouble." "Ma'am, please calm down," one of the guards said, maintaining his professionalism. "We'll review the surveillance footage. If your wallet is missing, we'll do everything we can to find it." Michael sat silently, adjusting his broken glasses. His calm demeanor only fueled Karen's frustration. "See, he's not even defending himself. That proves I'm right," she declared. "Ma'am, we've reviewed the surveillance footage," the returning guard said. "You dropped your wallet at the cafe while paying for your coffee. It's already been found and turned into the lost and found." Karen's face went pale, but she quickly recovered. "Then why was he running? He looked suspicious." "I was minding my own business," Michael replied calmly. "You yelled at me and then attacked me. I didn't do anything wrong." "Ma'am, your wallet has been located and your accusations are unfounded," the guard added. "However, you've caused this young man harm. His belongings are damaged and witnesses confirm that you initiated the conflict." "This is just a misunderstanding," Karen stammered, trying to defend herself, but her words sounded increasingly unconvincing. At that moment, someone from the crowd knocked on the office door. It was a man who had been recording the incident. I think you'll want to see this, he said, showing the guard his phone screen. The video clearly showed Karen attacking Michael without provocation. The video's already online, he added. This is going to attract a lot of attention. Karen glanced at the screen and saw dozens of comments condemning her actions. Panic began to set in. "Take that down immediately! This is wrong!" she yelled, reaching for the man's phone, but he stepped back. "It's the truth," he replied calmly, "and the world deserves to know." The guard shook his head. "Ma'am, you need to calm down. You've already said enough." Michael finally stood up. "I'm leaving," he said, looking at the guards. "I don't need this anymore." He gathered his torn belongings and walked out of the room. The crowd parted for him as he passed, while Karen remained behind, realizing the situation had spiraled out of her control. Her face flushed with humiliation, and she couldn't believe this was only the beginning of her ordeal. The video of the confrontation between Karen and Michael in the mall went viral within hours. The internet exploded with outraged comments. "How is this still happening?" "Another Karen exposed. He's just a kid." Hashtags like #JusticeForMichael and #KarenUnmasked trended across social media platforms. Karen had no idea how quickly the situation was spiraling out of control. Meanwhile, Michael returned home. His father, Marcus James, immediately noticed his son's broken glasses and dejected demeanor. "Michael, what happened?" he asked, sitting beside him. Reluctantly, Michael recounted the incident. He didn't want his father to get involved, knowing how influential Marcus was in the city. But Marcus couldn't ignore what he was hearing. "This is unacceptable," he said, pulling up the now viral video on his phone. "I won't let anyone treat my son like this." The next day, Marcus James's office was abuzz with chatter. Employees were discussing the video, unaware that the woman at the center of the controversy worked among them. Karen, still oblivious to the full extent of the fallout, arrived at work as if it were a normal day. However, the tension in the air was palpable. When Marcus summoned her to his office, Karen was surprised, but entered confidently. "Marcus, you wanted to see me?" she asked, closing the door behind her. Marcus silently turned his monitor toward her, playing the footage from the mall. The screen showed Karen yelling at Michael, ripping his bag and scattering his belongings. Karen's face turned ashen. "Do you recognize this video?" Marcus asked calmly. It's a misunderstanding," Karen stammered. "That boy, he was acting suspiciously." Marcus interrupted her. "That boy," he said, locking eyes with her, "is my son Michael. Not only did you humiliate him, but you also damaged his belongings, and all of it without a shred of evidence." Karen froze. She couldn't believe that the teenager from the mall was her boss's son. Panic set in. "Marcus, I didn't know he was your son. If I had known—" "It doesn't matter whose son he is," Marcus said sharply. "What matters is how you treated him. He is a person, and he deserves respect, as does anyone else." Karen tried to defend herself, but Marcus raised a hand to stop her. "You are being placed on temporary leave while we determine the appropriate course of action." "But I've been here for 5 years," Karen protested. "Which is why I expected better from you," Marcus replied firmly. "You need to leave the office immediately." Karen left the office, her face pale and her confidence shattered. As she walked past her colleagues, their glances and whispered conversations confirmed that the gravity of her actions was becoming clear to everyone. This was only the beginning of a long process of reckoning for Karen. After her suspension, Karen faced a public scandal. Her name and face were everywhere, and messages ranged from support to threats. She began to realize how deeply her actions had harmed others. Marcus, seeing how the incident affected Michael, encouraged him to meet with Karen to help both parties move forward. Though reluctant at first, Michael eventually agreed. At their meeting, Karen, visibly humbled, apologized sincerely. "I forgive you," Michael said. "But this is bigger than us. It's about how we treat each other as people." Karen, deeply moved, promised to change and take action. She began attending diversity workshops and advocating against bias. Inspired, Michael started a local initiative to support teens facing discrimination. Though the pain lingered, the incident became a lesson in accountability and growth, showing that even mistakes can spark meaningful change.